Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Hardcore Road to Glory. Now, I apologize for, the delay in episodes has been 2 weeks because for 2 weeks I've done videos, kind of old school videos where I highlight what I think should be changing the game, and I show you guys why I think certain things are unbalanced or broken, blah, blah, blah. But I hope you guys enjoyed those videos. Today we have a Hardcore Road to Glory episode once again, and the reason I'm doing this is because we just had a really interesting week in league stat-wise, but also let me show you my team really quickly. But again, stick around because the stats we're getting into for this week in league, for me, at least they were really mind-blowing. Now, as you can see, I did get Politano, and he was an upgrade to my Mertens in my team. I still have Red Nangolan, I still have Malquit, I still have Manolas and Donnarumma, and I picked up Scream Romagnoli because I used to have, Hernandez and Varane, but I came to the conclusion that the game will do what the game does, and I think having a center back like Manolas with Romagnoli is still class, but it's a lot cheaper than having Varane, so I went with that. FUT swap Roberto is still there, Neymar is still there. We bought him for around 800 something K, and now he's like over $1 million. We brought back in Allen, and this is where the big changes came. We used to have Mbappe, and we ended up selling him for Cristiano Ronaldo. We sold him and Varane to get to Ronaldo, and I'm really happy with that choice, but we'll talk about team more later on or another episode. And then, of course, I had a weekend where, if you follow me on social media, where I bought Hidetoshi Nakata, but he's gone because we were able to use him as a placeholder in Nakata, and now we have Insigne, who is also insanely good. But nonetheless, this past weekend league, before I tell you what my results were, let me show you guys the stats, all right? Because I think this was my best weekend league ever in terms of defense. I have never defended this well in terms of sheer stats and numbers and shutting down my opponents in 3 years of champs. And I'm someone who has gone, who has had top 100 elite ones. I've had the perfect weekend league with 40 and O's. I've had it all in FUT champs, but this was by far my best weekend league. But it gets interesting. All right, so let's look at the stats. All right, I had 11 rage quits out of 30 matches, which is not great. It's okay. It might be great depending on your rank, but like if you're aiming for Elite 1, you probably want like 15 plus. 11 rage quits, but it's okay. No problem. But this is where it gets tasty. All right. I had 21 clean sheets. 21 clean sheets. That is absolutely amazing. 29 games out of 30, I did not concede a single goal. Okay. Now, how many goals did I concede in total? I conceded 12 goals in 30 games. That is an average of 0.4 goals conceded per second. And later on, we're going to break it down between games 1 to 10, 11 to 20, and 29 to 30, or 21 to 30, okay? Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we didn't do as well. When I got 29 wins, I scored about 80 goals. This weekend, I only scored 62 goals, which is just above 2 goals per game, which is not great, but it doesn't matter because we defended amazing. Also, it comes down to the fact that a lot of easy goals that I could have had in the first 20 I didn't have because gameplay on Friday and Saturday was really bad. I mean, it's always really bad, but it gets so bad that I couldn't even move, right? So scoring was tough, but at least we didn't concede. So where did it all go wrong? Because it all went wrong because even though I only conceded 12 goals, even though I had 21 clean sheets, my friends, we still lost 4 games. That is 26-4 when these sort of stats are stats that you would expect from someone who just went undefeated in weekend league, someone who just got elite 1 in weekend league, who got 28, 29, but we still got 26-4, which is really discouraging. Of course, I'm trying to look at this self-critically, so I'm not saying it's the game's fault. In a way, it kind of is in some sense. I do believe that when it comes down to it, to the nitty-gritty, if this game was better, I get elite 1, 100%, because that's the way it's kind of always been. And then over time, I've noticed that despite me not changing in skill level, actually getting better, and my opponent's not really necessarily getting better because there aren't, when you grind at a certain level, not everyone grinds to the degree that I do, but for some reason, the game FIFA keeps developing in a way to make it more noob friendly. And if you don't agree with me, I mean, there's an actual statement that I've talked about in the past. I'm only going to briefly explain it, where EA literally said that FIFA 17 was too difficult for people, and even said FIFA 17 was a much more, you know, AI assisted game compared to 16. So even that was almost too easy. But then they came out and said FIFA 17 was too difficult. So the goal for FIFA 18 was to make it more accessible to noobs, right? And so from FIFA 17 to 18, there was already a big shift in making the game easier. And now here we are 2 years later, and it's even worse, and it's getting more and more accessible. So making yourself be better in this day and age in FIFA is so much harder. So these stats would have been enough, you know, to get me an Elite 1. But we live in an era where that's not enough. So the next best thing to do is see, okay, we have reached this level. What do we need to do more to make sure that we beat the game? Because it's not about beating the opponents anymore. You have to beat the game. So I'm still going to look at it self-critically, but I'm not going to give myself too hard of a time, because I did enough to definitely deserve Elite 1. We didn't get it. It's okay. Whatever. I'm just saying. So when I broke the stats down a little bit more, I was thinking, okay, were these stats really good just because I noob slayed at the really beginning? Well, not really. Okay, first 10 games, we go 10-0. Okay? 10-0 in the first 10 games. And the first 10 games, we scored 23 goals, so that's 2.3 goals per game. And we conceded 1 goal, so 0.1 goals per game. Stellar, but that's also the first 10 games, okay? Now, games 11 to 20, right? This is usually my toughest games. I don't know why. I don't know why games 11 to 20 for me are the hardest. You know, I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that I played this on Saturday, and like it feels awful on Saturday, and I can't move, but whatever. Games 11 to 20, we went 7-3, because once we were 15-0, and then we went to 15-1, then we went to 16-1, and then we went to 16-3. So we lost 3 games in 4 after being 15-0. One of which was on pens, and the other 2 were both in extra time, which we're going to analyze soon, right? We're going to get to the clips of those soon to show you guys how I lost those games. But yeah, 7-3 is not good at all. It's horrific. And the fact that they were all in extra time kind of goes to prove my point, where I kind of felt rigged. Of course, I should have done some things better, but it comes down to the point where I feel like my opponent had to do way less than what I had to do had I won. You know, if I would have won, I would have had to go to certain lengths that my opponent really didn't have to do to get his win. It feels like those games where you have to do way more to get the win as opposed to your opponent. So it's unfortunate, but we all have those games. It is what it is. So let's look at the stats for games 11 to 20. I scored 20 goals, so 3 less than the first 10 games, but, you know, more or less still on the average of the weekend, so 2 goals per game. And I conceded 7 goals. This is the bulk of my goals conceded in this weekend, which makes sense to what I feel. I usually feel like games 11 to 20 are my hardest, and it's where this weekend I conceded the most. It's where I lost the most, and it's also, yeah, that's it, 0.7 per game. But again, you're going to see how a lot of those goals were actually hysterically bad. But whatever. So games 21 to 30, obviously, you already know that if we went 26-4, you already know that we went 9-1 in the last 10, which is really something I would take every single time, because those are technically the hardest games in terms of level of opponent. But for me, it wasn't, you know, as difficult as 10 to 20 or 11 to 20 for whatever reasons. And from 21 to 30, we scored 19 goals. So we scored less, but we also conceded only 4 goals. So we conceded less than games 11 to 19. So all in all, you can obviously tell that games 1 to 10 are always usually the easiest. 11 to 20 are the hardest in terms of not necessarily your opponent's level, but just something goes wrong. And then 21 to 30 is the hardest in terms of levels of opponents, but I still fared better. So my conclusion to this is that I still have no idea how we didn't hit Elite 1, but let's get into the games. I'm going to look at it through my PlayStation, so the quality might not be as good, but still we're going to look at it through there, and I'm going to show you guys what went wrong so I can have some self-analysis and come out of this as hopefully a better player mentally. So because, you know, mechanically there's not really too much to improve based on this weekend league, but yeah, we're going to be looking at what sort of decision making I have to change so that this 26 turns into a sweat 27, a 28, a 29, or a 30, because these are defensive stats that deserve better. All right, so this is one of the games that I lost where I was actually in shock. I don't know how I lost this, but let's take a look. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the main actions and let's see what we can, you know, improve on. So in this play, Allen to Ronaldo in to Insigne. You know, this is a pretty classic situation. This one is, you know, you can see Neymar is entering, so all I have to do is feed the run. We get into the situation. We know that near post in this game is cracked beyond belief, so the obvious choice here is to go near post. I go with a finesse. Maybe I should have gone power shot because finesses are not as good anymore, but we go finesse nonetheless, and it doesn't go in. I'm totally fine with this not going in, by the way, because of the whole near post and how I feel about near post, but in this game, those usually goes in. They usually do go in, so I felt unfortunate for it to not go in, but in a perfect FIFA, obviously, they don't always go in. But obviously, that could have easily been a goal. More from me here, Politano into Neymar. Turn, you see there, he was selecting his center back in Hernandez, and he overcommits because he's trying to cover the run, I presume, of Nainggolan. He overcommits downwards, and so we notice that. We just pull up, and now we have basically almost like a penalty from outside of the box. Now, take a look at Lloris, right? Take a look at Lloris right here. You see Lloris? Just look at his goalie. Boom. Look at him there. Look at him there. Look at him there. Boom. You see that? Okay, let's look at it again. Boom, right there. He takes like a half step, so he ends up slightly more that side, like towards the right side, or his left, than the left. That's why I go cross post, because that's the side that he's left more open. However, this is where FIFA 20 as a game comes in, because this is a wide open shot from inside the box at that point, because we get inside the box, so you can see from Neymar. Lloris is closer to the right side than he is the left. That's why I shoot to the left side, but he still saves it, because shooting cross post in this game is horrible. It's just not. It's not good. So we don't score because of that. This could have easily been a goal. Maybe I shoot near post here, and maybe it still goes in, but it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense, because I don't want to train my reflexes to choose the wrong decision. This is the right decision that I make in a fraction of a second, because I see that movement from Lloris. My instinct tells me he's closer to that side than this side, which is why I shoot this side, but it still doesn't go in. So we should have been at least 1-0 already in this game, all right? But we're not. It's okay, though. We proceed. Now, 22nd minute, we have another chance. So we're clearly dominating. We get the ball into Cristiano, who, by the way, I highly recommend heel to heel. We're in front of Kante now, right? Step back in. Obviously not the most ideal position, because, you know, near post is better, and this is kind of setting up for a finesse far post, but whatever. And then we kind of go for the shot, but we kind of mess up. We shoot with the left instead of the right foot, and then it doesn't really amount to anything. So this probably would have never been a goal, but just to show you guys, we're creating chances. Things are clicking. Literally the corner afterwards, he tackles us. We get a penalty. Was it a penalty? I don't know. But, you know, it's weekend league. We have to take what we can get. And we aim right, and he saves it, right? So, what can I do? He saves our penalty. Unfortunate. Finally, though, we do break through. He's literally had no chances. We've had it all. We got this really nice goal, which rarely happens. We get the runner in Insigne, Nainggolan. We see the run, so we get the angle and the ball in. Beautiful. Nothing to say here. Now, in the second half, he scores off my kickoff, right? Because this is kind of the state of the connection. I'm sure everyone watching will understand, because we were all playing this weekend. It was really, really bad. So off kickoff, you could see I do the step overs, and boom. When that happens, that is just how bad the gameplay is. That has nothing to do with me performing too much of it, or nah. That's just purely gameplay. There's no reason for that. It's Cristiano Ronaldo, 5-star skills. Can't do 2 step overs. Okay. We lose the ball. And let's see what we could have done better here. Obviously, maybe we pushed a little too much, but it's not too bad. This is a safe area to push out too much. And we actually end up getting the ball, so we should already have the ball here, but it's unfortunate that we lose the 50-50. I know Insigne is tiny, but, like, you know, the ball was intercepted. Ends up back to him. Whatever. We proceed, and we tackle him again, right? So we should have the ball at this point. He does do the ball roll, but we're there, you know? You can see from the pause that our foot is ahead of his foot. So he somehow does a ball roll through our foot, retains possession. All right, we continue. Passes it in to his son, but I think this gets assisted to Dembele. Does a fake shot, scoop turn, sorry, to the near post, and he can finish this, right? So this goes hand in hand with the video I made last week about how near post being OP ruins this game, because I'm marking the outside, because why would I let him go on the inside with Dembele, but he can get here on the outside and bang it with Dembele, by the way. Dembele, okay? He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but this shouldn't even go in with, like, the best of the best, I think, because it's just one of those, like, you didn't do enough. I'm marking the outside. My keeper should save that, but in this game, you know, when I was with Neymar in the center of the box and his Lloris gave me the far post and I shot far post, it doesn't go in because the shot goes straight at him. But when you're on the outside and you can shoot near post with a worse player, because Dembele is worse than Neymar, it goes top bin. So I guess I have to be better at defending the near post, but, you know, we play a game where this is going to happen, so it is what it is. It's 1-1, and we proceed. We kept fighting, though, and here we have the ball with Insigne. You know, we don't have a lot of players centrally on the pitch, and he has more, so he outnumbers us, so we have to be really patient. We dribble, we get the space, he's covering the run, so I'm not going to feed the run. I'm going to take one more touch inside, shoot near post. This time it finally works, which is ironic because this time we had more pressure on us. We had Varane running at us. Lloris was actually in a better spot to cover it, the near post here, than he was to the far post in our previous chance, but it's near post, so it goes in for some reason, and we take the 2-1 lead, which we will gladly take. Now here, a massive chance. He does a offside trap. We'll play it full motion first, and then we'll decide what we should do. But essentially, right here, I choked a little bit. So I definitely should have done a through ball of some sort to Insigne. I just thought that I was scared of Kante intercepting it, right? So I wanted to go for the shot. But the shot ended up not being good because of the pressure that Kante puts on us. So without a shadow of a doubt, this is a penalty. This is absolutely a penalty because Kante comes at me from behind, gets none of the ball. I'm shooting, makes me fall. This is a penalty. This is 100% a penalty. Sure, I should have passed it to Insigne. That would have been a goal. But this is a penalty. Penalty in a booking, maybe a red. I don't know. This is a penalty. 100%. This is a penalty. Nothing more to say. So, spoiler alert. This is where we concede. But let's look at what happens, right? So, he passes into Son. And he goes for a through ball right here into Dembele. By the way, first of all, actually, maybe it was to Sane, but it was offside, so the game redirected it to Dembele. First of all, look at when he feeds this run. Like, he feeds this run right here when Dembele is so far off. So, obviously, my Manolas is 10 times in a better position to get it. But even then, we almost lose it, right? But it's okay. We proceed, and then I mess up completely. This is on my bad. So, obviously, in order to get better, when I see this, I have to think, okay, it's not about getting better mechanically or this. It's just decision-making. My decision-making here was rushed, hasty. I think I'd be better off to just boot this away and defend it again, even give him a throw and literally anything but give it to him. So obviously not a good situation, right? Because then he gets the ball back. But we were extremely composed in this situation because, as you can see, I pass it back to him. What do? We select Romagnoli, right? Instant select Romagnoli in the middle of the box, which is nightmare to defend, guys. This is really hard. And so what I do is he gets the ball to Sane. Look at my positioning with Romagnoli. Perfect. Absolutely sensational, because at this point, I give him one option and one option only, because I don't want his option to be to shoot. I don't want to choke and like over jockey in this situation and maybe cover the pass to Neymar. I want to cover the shot, and if he passes it to Neymar, bravo. I take my hat off to you. You were cold-blooded as hell, and you should score. But he shoots this. I'm going to play it out for you guys, and we're going to analyze this. Wow. Look at the state of this. Now, you can't see well here. I hope I have the replay saved, but look at this. He shoots. It bounces off my back heel, and it slowly goes in as Donnarumma looks. This is how he ties the score in the 78th minute. So to give you more of the idea, obviously I'm 2-1 up in the 75th, and then I concede this, right? So like I told you guys, it hits. I selected Romagnoli to put him in front of Sane in this awful situation I'm in, because if he then passes it to Neymar, which is the only option I gave him, all I can do is take my hat off and applaud this absolute specimen against me, who is a god. But he takes the bait after I block the shot completely. It hits Romagnoli in the foot, and it slowly, you know, loops over Donnarumma. So I mean, that's how that went in, and that's when that goes in. How can I be accountable? You know what I mean? Like, you want to tell me be accountable? I'm gonna be as accountable as I possibly humanly can. But if that's going in, my dude, we have big problems. I know we find ourselves in extra time after a game where we had the first 5 or 6 chances of the games. We missed a penalty. We should have had another penalty. We missed a chance that should have gone in. We take the lead. He ties it with cheese, and you know, he ties it with even more cheese later on, and then he wins it with this. I mean, what more do you want me to tell you? Literally. Okay, so right here I could have defended a little better, right? So for some strange reason, my right CDM is Alan, and he's on the right side of the pitch, and my left CDM is Nainggolan, and he's on the right side of the pitch as well. So Nainggolan, this is a lapse in the defensive AI, essentially, but in a perfect world, I read that and I run down with Alan and I cover this pass, but I didn't. But it's okay. We make mistakes. So he gets the pass into Neymar. He gets to this situation here. I'm covering the run of Neymar until the last second. Then he runs into my AI defender. And because he ran into my defender, he gets rewarded. And he gets, you know, the bounce back. He gets the ball. And it is what it is. I know there's the school of thought of some people who are like, oh, you weren't controlling that player, therefore you deserve to concede that. Guys, I'm covering Neymar's run. I could have selected Manolas earlier, but he literally ran straight into my Manolas. It's not like my Manolas went out of his way to tackle him, right? It's unfortunate that he doesn't have space for him, but he literally ran into my Manolas to shoot, and he gets that space. Not to mention that it's not like player switching is easy in these conditions, but all in all, you don't deserve to score that. That's, like, I don't accept that. You know what I mean? I could have done better and selected Manolas earlier, maybe, whatever you want, but you really tell me that if I'm selecting him, I win this ball? I don't think so, man. I've played enough FIFA 20 to know that it's not so simple as to, like, just select him and good things will happen, because we all know that plan tackling doesn't really work. So what can I do better is definitely attack better. So in this situation, you know, a really interesting moment to be in, but obviously there's nothing on. If we look at the center of the box, you know, Nainggolan and Ronaldo are going in, but his AI is covering me perfectly. So there's nothing I can, like, there's nothing I can do, right? So there's no space for me to cut in. He auto tackles me, and it is what it is. So I guess in this situation, the best thing I can do is either shoot, hope for the best, but I don't really like that approach. So I should have probably dragged back down and back and then take it from there. But you know, you're always hoping for the run inside, but you know, this is something that I'm definitely going to be working on my offensive side of the game. Here, another chance, 112th minute, we get it to Malquit. Again, nothing there. This time we make the adjustment. We go to the edge of the box. Neymar with a weird touch that overruns it. Now, pre-patch, easy decision here. I go finesse far post. Here, I went near post just because, like, I'm kind of panicking. I'm like, I'm not going to score my finesse far post. We do 3 bars of power, or no, 2.5 bars of powers, and it flies over the bar. Didn't really expect this to go in, but I guess, you know, like, I'm thinking, should I have done a finesse? But we know finesses don't work, so probably not. I think it is what it is. Maybe if I could have been a little more composed, maybe an extra touch. No, I don't think there was a space for an extra touch. I'm just thinking out loud here. But yeah, this is a tough situation to be in because my Neymar is absolutely knackered. If I do a ball roll to the left here, maybe, yeah, it wouldn't have worked because I would have said maybe I can pass it up to Politano there on the edge of the box. But as you can see, he's running backwards. So, like, had he been stayed there or running forwards, you know, then I could have said the argument, ball roll back, pass into Politano. But the offensive AI in this game is awful. So there's really not much more I could do there unless I ball roll and reset the attack. But that's kind of a shame. And so we lose this goal because he scores a near post cheese after we missed a pen, which that's my fault. But also chances that should have definitely gone in just because this game just doesn't work. We concede this atrocity of a goal. And you know, what do you want me to tell him? I did everything perfect here, and the way this goes in is actually comical. And then obviously we concede the last goal where he gets rewarded for running into my AI player, and he gets the bounce back, which is super lucky. And then while he gets the bounce back, also my other AI does an auto slide, which opens up the way for him. So it is what it is, man. This was one of my L's, and I think this went longer than I thought, so we're gonna stop it at that. This was really the first L that kicked all things off for me. When I lost this, I lost full composure. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys you know, appreciated the bit of analysis. Look, man, I'm gonna try and be as self-accountable as possible, but I think it's sometimes it's better to not give yourself too hard of a time, because we just witnessed what happened on the screen here. The stats that I put out this week in defensively speak for themselves and are definitely worthy of at least a 27. So I think I'm on the right track. Few tinkers here and there, and I think we can do some great weekend league results this year. Nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace out.